Let us learn about bearings part 2. In the previous video we discussed about bearing basics, loads, ball and roller bearing types and bearing nomenclature. In this session I will talk about bearing arrangements, fits and tolerances, bearing clearances. We know that the shaft needs at least two bearings to support. The shaft can expand if temperature rises and contract if temperature drops. If we don't consider metal expansion or contraction, the shaft can bend or break. To accommodate this, one of the bearings is made to move axially. Bearing that allows axial movement is floating bearing. Bearing that fixes the shaft position in axial direction or which does not move is the fixed bearing. So that makes the fit on the shaft and the fit on the housing to be different. The fixed bearing is tightly fitted both on the shaft and in the housing. The floating bearing has the outer ring mounted with clearance into the housing, and thus the axial movement in both directions is allowed. Bearing arrangements. We have learnt that the bearing should take care of radial and axial loads. Bearing that takes axial load is known as thrust bearing. Bearing that takes radial load is radial bearing. In the previous video, we have seen which bearing can take radial load or which bearing can take axial load. Some bearings, like deep groove ball bearings in 6000 series, can take both loads to a certain extent. Then the most important point here is that the bearings are fixed by fits and not by keys. Fit on the shaft is generally an interference fit. I said generally. Fit on the housing is generally transition fit. We will now look at the type of the fits. Undoubtedly, good fit gives bearing a long life, but it is often overlooked or ignored. As most bearings are used on rotating shafts, inner races require tight fit. Bearings usually mounted in housings with transition fit. Bearings with cylindrical bores are normally mounted by press fit on the shafts. Sometimes they are heated to expand their diameter and shrunk fit. Bearings with tapered bores with suffix K are mounted directly on the taper shafts. Most commonly, they are fixed using taper sleeves on straight shafts. Care in bearing fitting. Poor contact on the bearing seat or the shaft and out of square housing shoulders can misalign bearing. Outer ring tries to conform to the shape of the housing bore. So, out of round bore pinches the ring radially, results in additional stress, heat generation, and short life. Pay special attention to the shaft condition. Dirt, burrs spoil the fitment, causes local overloads leading to an early failure. Shaft condition. There are a few important points to take care on the shaft while fixing any bearing. Bearings are precision manufactured items made to very close tolerances. Shafts or housings also must be machined to similar close tolerances. Inner race must be positioned at the shaft shoulder fully seated against it. Shaft corners or fillets must be sufficiently chamfered to match bearing corners or chamfers. Here are a few examples of mistakes. Picture 1 shows that the shaft fillet is too large and so the bearing will seat away from the shaft step. Picture 2 shows that the shaft has proper fillet and bearing contacts properly. Picture 3 shows that the shaft shoulder is too small and the inner race will not have enough contact. In the picture 4 you can see that the shaft shoulder is too large and it is interfering with the bearing parts. You can see the correct shaft shoulder height and fillet solid seating for the bearing loads in picture 5. Tight fits. Normally bearings on the shafts have tight fits, but If you make an airtight fit, it will reduce the initial radial clearance more. At operating temperature, the clearance reduces further. Balls will become excessively loaded. The immediate result will be bearing will get hot and hotter, accompanied by high torque. When we find the bearing is running hot, we try to cool it by different methods. But continued operation leads to high wear, fatigue, crack, and catastrophic failure. Left picture shows a cracked inner race due to over-tight fit. In the right-hand picture, you can see heavy wear-out marks because of over-tight fit. On the other hand, loose fit causes relative motion between mating parts. As bearing metals are harder, they wear out the shaft. This also initiates fretting action. Fretting generates fine abrasive metal particles. These particles wear out the shaft further and aggravate the looseness. Mating parts like bore, outer diameter, races will wear out. Result will be heat, noise, wear out, and run out. Picture on the left is a classic example of that damage. Picture on the right shows that the bearing is not fully engaged on the shaft, it has only a partial contact. That brings us to the classes of fits. Basically, we have three classes of common fits for bearings. Clearance fit has a clearance between bore and shaft as shown in picture A. Bore size is greater or at least equal to the size of the shaft. Easy to assemble as the mating parts slide or rotate when assembled. Example is the piston on a piston rod. But ball and roller bearings do not use this kind of fit. Next is transition fit as shown in B. Bore is fractionally smaller, that is just a little smaller than the shaft. Mild force is required to assemble or disassemble to make this press fit. Example is the shaft key or housing fit on the floating bearing. C is interference fit. Bore is smaller than the shaft. It creates some interference between bore and shaft. High force is required to assemble or disassemble the bearing. Sometimes heat is used to expand the bearing to fit it on the shaft. Example, bearings and bushes. International Standards Organization (ISO) have set standards for the fits and tolerances. Here is a diagram of shaft and housing tolerance ranges. More detailed data is available in the bearing manuals or in the standards manuals. ISO system uses alphanumeric code for the tolerance range for the fit. Uppercase represents bore or hole tolerance and lowercase represents shaft tolerance. Example, let us take H7 by H6, commonly used fit. Capital H7 indicates tolerance range of hole or bore. Small h6 indicates tolerance range of shaft. Here is suggested indication of housing fits for radial angular contact bearings and thrust bearings under different loads. Here is the indicative table for the shaft fits for radial angular contact bearings and thrust bearings under different loads. Now for the bearing clearances. Take a deep groove ball bearing and jiggle it, inner race in the outer race. You can see some play. That's the internal clearance important for the bearing to freely rotate. The total movement in the radial direction is called the radial clearance. Movement between races in axial direction is called the axial clearance. If the clearance is not enough, it will be difficult to rotate the bearing. It generates excessive heat, reduces the bearing life. If the clearance is more, that is unacceptable axial or radial play, the bearing will make excessive noise, vibrations, heat, and reduced bearing life. That brings us to the bearing clearances. Initial clearance is the unmounted clearance, the internal clearance available before fixing the bearing. Mounted clearance is the clearance after mounting. Operating clearance is the actual clearance while the bearing is in operation. There are three important points to remember. Initial clearance reduces after mounting due to interference, mounting method, shaft size, and housing size. 2. Mounted clearance changes while operating due to temperature and other conditions. 3. Correct operating clearance gives smooth and long life for the bearing. The most common reasons for bearing failure are 1. Wrong selection of unmounted clearance, 2. Excessive reduction of clearance due to bad mounting practices, 3. Higher temperature operation. Bearing clearance classes. Bearings are manufactured in 6 clearance classes as per ISO 5753. They are designated with a suffix C1 to C5 after the bearing number. C1 has minimum clearance. C2 has more clearance than C1 but less than Cn. Cn is the normal clearance bearing but less than C3. This is not indicated in the bearing number. If there is no clearance suffix in the bearing number, it means that it is normal clearance bearing. C3 has more clearance than Cn but less than C4. This is the most common bearing clearance used. C4 has clearance greater than C3. C5 has greater clearance than C4. Make sure to replace a bearing with the same clearance class C3 to C3, C2 to C2. Please note that the C4 and C5 have even more clearance than C3. If you fix this bearing in the place of C3 bearing, it will be loose. But C2 has less clearance. Use it in applications that specify C2 clearance. Actual bearing clearances should be minimum possible, few microns or even zero under load. Bearing clearances depend on the bearing size type. Data easily available on the internet and in the bearing manuals. Now, what happens when you fix a bearing? Bearings are generally fixed in the housing with transition fit. They are fixed with interference fit on the shaft. We select a bearing with the adequate initial clearance for the size and service. When you mount it on the shaft, the internal clearance reduces. Check the reduction by the effects of mounting and other factors. It should be equal or just greater than the required minimum operating clearance. Correct bearing play depends on application, operating temperature of the bearing. Then, what happens after you fix the bearing? When the inner ring rotates, the outer ring carries static load. Inner ring will expand in operation and the outer ring will contract. Effectively, outer ring presses the inner ring. On the other hand, in some applications, outer race rotates. Then the inner race carries the static load. Same effect occurs, the inner ring expands and the outer ring contracts. So, good operating clearance is important for good bearing operation. Now, to check the bearing clearance, we take an example of double row spherical roller bearing. Before you start, take the data from the tables available in the bearing manuals or from the internet. Note the minimum clearance value for the type, bore size, and the clearance class of the bearing. Also note RIC, or reduction in clearance, and mounted clearance readings. Now, first place the bearing upright, the rings must be parallel. Then, manually rotate the inner ring to ensure that the rollers are free. Bring one roller to the top center. Take a feeler gauge slightly smaller than the minimum value. slide the gauge at an angle between the unloaded rollers and the outer ring race. Progressively increase the gauge thickness. It will be more and more difficult to slide the feeler blade. When you cannot enter the blade, go back and enter the last one. Clearance value is that reading between the last pass gauge and the last file gauge. Record the reading. Rotate the rollers and take one or two more readings. Learn the feel and confirm the unmounted clearance. Here is a sample table showing clearances for the tapered bore spherical roller bearing. The table shows the range of nominal bearing bore in mm. Next, it shows the range of radial internal clearances before mounting. Then you can see the suggested reduction in clearance RIC. It also shows the axial displacement of tapered shaft drive up if you cannot measure RIC. In the last column, it shows the minimum allowable clearance after installation. Mounted clearance. Let us see how to check the bearing clearance after mounting. We will take up the same type bearing but straight bore type first. Fit up the bearing on the shaft at the appropriate position. Let it cool to ambient temperature. Use the same procedure as earlier and check the final residual clearance. Make sure that it is not less than the given value for the bearing mounted clearance. For the tapered bore bearings, position the bearing on the sleeve, place the lock washer and tighten the nut on the sleeve. As the nut gets tightened, internal clearance reduces. It must be constantly measured until the specified value is reached. Make sure that it is not less than the given value for the bearing mounted clearance. Reduction in internal clearance tells you the tightness of the fit. When the radial internal clearance reduction cannot be measured, the distance bearing is driven onto the seat can be used as a reference value. While we take up bearing mounting in the next video, here is a typical arrangement of a bearing on a fan shaft. Let us see the sequence of mounting. Place the tapered bore bearing on the shaft at appropriate place. Adapter sleeve is inserted from the large diameter side of the bearing. Insert lock washer and lock nut onto the sleeve from the other side. As we tighten the lock nut on the sleeve, it will reduce the radial clearance of the bearing. We will measure that clearance. We will tighten the nut until we reach the required clearance. Then the lock nut is locked by lock washer. Labyrinth seals are fixed on both sides later. Let us take an example from 22328K C3 bearing. It is a spherical roller bearing with tapered bore 140 mm with C3 clearance. Unmounted clearance in mm is maximum of 0.230 to 0.180. Reduction clearance is 0.1 to 0.075. Minimum permissible clearance is 0.075 mm. Let us take an example from 22328K C3 bearing. It is a spherical roller bearing with tapered bore, 140 mm bore with C3 clearance. As per the bearing data sheets, unmounted clearance should be between 0.230 to 0.180 mm. Reduction in clearance RIC must be within 0.1 to 0.075 mm. Minimum permissible clearance must be 0.075 mm. We will continue the example of the same bearing. With the help of the feeler gauge, the initial clearance of the bearing was found to be 0.190 mm. It should be between 0.230 to 0.180 mm for C3 bearing. So it's good. Suggested reduction or RIC due to installation should be between 0.1 to 0.075 mm, and clearance after mounting should be 0.190 minus zero point 0.1, that is equal to 0.90 mm, taking both maximum readings. So minimum required is 0.075. After tightening the lock nut, the clearance was found to be 0.090 mm. Okay, because it is more than the minimum required. In the next video, we will learn about bearing mounting and unmounting. I will shortly release Telugu version of this video. Please watch, like, comment and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.